Twisted Elk Brewery. Today I want to talk about our Penguin chillers. This is the 3 1/3 horsepower model. It's the indoor unit. We've been using this for about 3 years, running our 5-barrel system, and it's actually been amazing. The only maintenance that we really had to do to it was the fan. We had to replace the fan at one time as I think the nut loosened up a little bit and it started wobbling and then it kind of broke. So other than that, this thing has been flawless. Right now we have 3 5-barrel fermenters, a 5-barrel bright tank, and a 10-barrel fermenter, and also our 1-barrel SS Brewtech fermenter, all running off of this chiller, and we've had no issues at all. Right now our bright tank is at 32 degrees. We have no problems getting it down there so we can package properly, and overall it's been a beast. So I want to get into how this thing works, how you set it all up and everything like that, because it's a really awesome machine. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up and let's get a look inside of here. Okay, this is what the chiller looks like inside. We have it set right now for 27 degrees, so it just kicked on, and you can hear it. It's really not that loud, and it might be picking up a little louder on the microphone, but when I'm standing here it's really not that loud. And the way this works is really unique. Each tank has its own set of pumps, and this one kicked on, so I'm not going to pull that one out. But this is the 24-volt pumps from Glycol chiller. They just sit down in here. It's a submersible pump. And then when the tank's calling for Glycol, we use the Inkbird controllers, and it just literally turns the pump on and it circulates the fluid. I'll demonstrate. I'll go ahead and plug in one of these tanks that there's nothing in it, so it should be warm. It should kick on this Glycol here in a second. And I got the tube pulled out right there, so you can see it's got a amazing flow right there. That's a pretty good flow for these 24-volt pumps right there, and it cools the tanks down very well. These are the temperature controllers that we're using, these Inkbird controllers. These are awesome. I've used these ever since I was home brewing, and basically all it is a relay switch with a thermo controller on it. So each one of these will have a temperature probe. You just insert the temperature probe into the thermo well of your fermenter, and then you have basically 2 120 receptacles here. One is marked cooling, one's marked heating. So you would plug your pump into your cooling side. So when this calls for cooling, all it does is just turn the pump on and recirculate it through. It's a very simple design. Now, if you did have a heating jacket on your fermenter, you could actually use it for heating as well. So for the Glycol lines, what we did is we used 1/2-inch silicone tubing for this, because there's not a lot of pressure on those pumps, so the 1/2-inch silicone was perfect. And then we ran these, we actually tied in the upper and lower jackets together on this, and we used a T-fitting right here. And then after we got everything plumbed in, I went over with 2 layers of pipe insulation. I used 1/2-inch foam insulation around the tubing first. Then we went up, we found the biggest one we got, I think it might have been 1 inch or 1.5 inches, and we wrapped that on top of that, so 2 layers. And then we took that and we wrapped it with electrical tape. We did that pretty much just to seal it and make it so you can clean it, so you can actually wipe down the electrical tape. It was a lot easier than the foam, which is kind of like a porous surface. So that worked really well, and it helps keep your lines cold, and it takes some of the pressure off of the chiller for the heat factor.